You've got your triggers down now. In order to set up your workflow, now that you've got the trigger, we can set up actions based on the workflow automations that you want to do. A great example, let's go back to the appointment example. And if we were creating an appointment, the first thing we would want to do when they book the appointment, let's say the calendar's on your website or you sent them the calendar link, the first thing we want to do is send them a confirmation email. Sometimes the best way to build out a workflow automation is to just grab a piece of paper and a pen and think about the process of what all you want to do based on that workflow. When it's appointment, what do we need to do? Who do we need to notify? Who's managing that particular appointment or that particular calendar? When it comes to adding a tag or adding any other form, or who's taking care of your leads? Do we need to set an opportunity? Do we need to set a reminder? What emails do we want to send out? What text do we want to send out? Do we want to leave a voicemail drop? You want to think about the workflow process of what it is that you're going to be doing for your trigger. And a great example, and I'm just simplifying this as a calendar, we first want to send them a confirmation that says, thank you so much, your appointment's confirmed. We also want to send them a reminder. So we want to think about what we want to do for the reminder. We're going to send them a reminder. We want to do it 24 hours, 3 days, whatever it is that you want to do, you want to set that reminder. Then you want to set a reminder for the day of the appointment, 4 hours, 6 hours, an hour before. You want to create that process with your paper and pen, and that way you can come in and create your perfect automation workflow that's going to work for you. Now, keep in mind, not everything in the world can be automated. We can't automate you picking up the phone or if a customer called you. So we're going to talk about how to add and remove customers right after this, because there are some manual actions that do need to take place. You can't automate everything. The system doesn't know when your phone rings. The system doesn't know when you've physically spoken with a specific person, and you now need to remove them from your promotional workflow. So we've got to understand that you're going to want to be able to add and remove those customers. Once you set up your triggers, you'll see your little plus right here, and then you're going to see all your list of actions. Inside of actions, we can have actions related to contacts. We can have action related to communication, things like sending out an email, sending out a text, making a call, following up to a Facebook or Instagram message, Google message, sending review requests. You'll also see this send data, which again would be related to third-party applications. Let's say you get data that you want to send to maybe a webhook or a Google worksheet. You also have internal tools. These are great because internal tools can do things like if else. If this action happens, then we need to do this. We can also add wait steps, goal steps, update custom values. You can set the go-to, you can set date and time, number formats, math operations, start and event dates, add them to a workflow. So for example, if they're done right here, you can easily add them to another workflow by selecting another workflow on your list. You can remove them from a workflow. When they're done, you can remove them from all workflows. You can also set out drip campaigns for sending those emails. So that way, if you have 100 people in an email list or 1,000 people that are all on this, we can set a drip mode to drip mode out that email before they go to the next step. You'll also see other actions related to premium actions with ChatGPT, other appointment, opportunity, payment actions, marketing actions, more affiliate actions, membership actions, and IVR actions, which we talk about in the phone. And all of these actions can be performed based on what your trigger is. So the puzzle then comes into play once you've got your automation, your trigger, and your automation process worked out, and you've written out your email, your text, and what you want to send or say or do next. That's when you want to come in here and add those automations. What's great about automations is it doesn't necessarily have to be just for your customer. We can send an email to the customer, but we can also send an internal notification to the team. If I add an internal notification to the team right here, you'll see I can notify them via email, the notification on their mobile app, or I can send them a text. I can notify my team member that they have an appointment. I can select the assign all users or the assigned user to the appointment, or I can select specific users. So you can get very detailed within external and internal communications. Another favorite thing that I love doing is adding opportunities. We are all looking at our contacts, our conversations, and our opportunities. So if a form or a tag is performed, you can easily add them to an opportunity. All you got to do is search opportunity and you'll see create an opportunity. And again, you'll see it opens up the doorway to telling you what the action name is and then what pipeline. Is it your sales pipeline? What stage is it? Is it the new lead? You can give it a name. Contact.name. Where's the source coming from? Select the status. It's open. You can even select people to 1 if they've made a payment. You could have a trigger that somebody made a payment and then you can move them in the workflow. You can move them in the pipeline to 1. You can have the system do everything you want based on the trigger, both internally with your team, internally with your pipeline, and externally with your customer. Think of automation and workflows as the process, both external and internal, when you're setting up your actions. And that's how you use triggers and actions inside of workflows. Start writing out your workflow and setting it up. Remember, you can always test your workflow. Go to the actual action, test the action, and always test. You always want to test and do that before you enroll anybody in your workflow. Always test your workflow. And don't forget to click publish and the save to make sure that your workflow is active and live. And when you go back to your workflows, you can easily organize them by folder or search the workflow to see how that workflow is performing, see which ones are published and which ones are still in draft mode.